You're live.
I want to say, I want to we say, Mami no second no sukori no tong. Mi fambule mi na kabo plenty kushe. But before I start, I want to ask una a unique question. When I tell Adu, how the Limba man they do am and how they do am best. They say man they for real man and then a salon. Wait them. Una we come talk about change. What's in a change? This is a topic we will go on and on about. Because Sierra Leone seem for be still water. We water still, it not they move. That means to say it is smell, it not fresh, it's stale. We go for make the water move. We go for facilitate change. What's in a change? Change now for replace with something else, especially something of the same kind that is newer or better. Substitute one thing for another. And if you talk about change, you talk about swapping, exchange, interchange, substitute, switch, commute, convert, replace, alternate, transpose, barter, trade, rotate. These are all synonyms when you talk about the same thing. We get for transition. We're not going to continue for them at the same place. You see, when you look at biology, then tell you about characteristics of living things. Uniquely, the characteristics, they're all comprised of movement, respiration, now movement, locomotion, now movement, excretion, now movement of your belly, reproduction, a replacement, now movement, respiration, we don't talk about, now movement. So we get for change. And when we talk about change, we get for think about certain fundamental things them where you get for deal with for start change. Because for change a system, you must first understand the system, including its components and the relationship between them. You not just the grab you change. Now this we talk about now. We have to understand who we are as a people. Understand with tradition, with culture. Because people can come out, oh, Ghana, they do so, oh, Nigeria, they do so. That is for them. We as Sierra Leoneans, we need to know we orientation. We need to know our background. We need to understand we self as a people and we history. I go revert back to what I said earlier. To change a system, you must first understand the system, including its components and the relationship between them. Then identify the core problem and desire a future state. Think of changing the system. First, you get to know the system where you want for change. You understand the components, the thing them with the inside, the jati them with the inside. All what in the makeup of Sierra Leone, how we did so. We get ethnic diversity. That is our strength. It's not a weakness, but we neglect that. If we neglect that, we are not going to be able to facilitate the change. We go consistent to who we are. Sierra Leone, not to one tribe did it. We plenty, we did it. We get to understand that. Now, part of the component. Now, one of the things then that we make we Sierra Leoneans. We are Sierra Leoneans. Timni, Mende, Soso, Limba, Krio, Loko, Madingo, Fula, Shabro, all them tribe there, they're all significant. And in fact, the smaller the tribe, the more significant, because a civilized society, not only the way they treat the majority, now how they treat the minority and the weak people amongst them, now in the show the real strength and so say they civilize. Now, as I say earlier, For change the system, first you go understand within the system is, including the component. When you don't understand the component, then you understand also the core problem, identify them. When you don't identify the core problem and desire for future, that's what you see yourself in the future. That means to say, for change, you get to make choice. And for make choice, you have to make some sacrifices. And these are the things we don't want to do. And what it was about the kind of change where we want to achieve, first and foremost, we are a society where we see the truth, but we choose the lies over the truth. And you cannot change a society based on lies. And this is the problem. The components, when they say the jati, then we they inside the problem. Sierra Leone will not get a clear, definitive role where people in the play. Like if you notice, there is a blur. There is no difference between who a politician is and the intellectuals. The intellectuals and the politicians are one and the same people. The people that were supposed to challenge government, now they're not the government. So how then go self-regulate? So there is no equilibrium, there is no balance. The very people them, wait for hold them people are accountable, wait for challenge the system, when are the academics, they are all politicians. You know, see them doctor, this doctor, that doctor, that doctor, that they all the meander into. They all go gather, they like in jalo them. The thief, warawere, the thief. They not give a damn who they hurt, who they don't hurt. Because we not get a clear understanding how to facilitate change. If we really want to facilitate change, these are the things we have to look at. Understand the system, including its components and the relationship between them. If you look at the relationship between the politicians and the intellectual class, they are one and the same. We for identify that. We for differentiate that. That will be part of the change where we for try for inculcate into the system. When we don't do that, we have to collaborate with others to build the momentum. Who do they collaborate with? Others. Who are others? Mendega for collaborate with the Timni, Fula, Creole, Loco, Soso. Just like what Samura Machel say. He say, for build a nation, tribe must die. We get for kill tribe. And with problem, now two types of tribalism we get. We get linguistic tribalism and political tribalism. What's not linguistic tribalism? Now people and we're too loyal to them tribe to an extent that then they prejudice others. We don't belong to them tribe. Then loyalty is predominantly based on a tribe, not the country, not the nation, but the loyalty not just into the tribe. And as Sierra Leone, team the man they do, me the man they do. And one way we will not go change. Now we will come out, begin to say, now me need them. Then me need to say that team need them. But that boy will sing that song. He not sing them against the Mindi demo. It depicts exactly what's in the corner we country. Bendi midi me na nyamobe. Team money brother thief. You know the other thief pana. Now one of them. Then the club for him. You know, clever man. Oh God, this is our brother. We will stand by him. We will support him. If the APC, oh, is APC don't do better. APC then do better. What in APC don't ever do? Una show me what in the legacy of APC. We still not get water for drinking at the country. Where is the legacy? Leprosy. We don't in Sierra Leone. Before Jesus was a boy. They don't eradicate leprosy all over the world. It is still live and kicking in Sierra Leone. To an extent, we get hospital for them called Masanka. Why is it the case Sierra Leone is still live and kicking? A medieval disease where even the Bible talk about them. Then we get them before Muhammad was born. Then we get them before Jesus Christ was born. We still get an Sierra Leone. Then we talk about legacy. Do we really have legacy? What's in our legacy? Now, bad legacy that we get. We not get no good legacy. If we get good legacy, we will get water for drink by now. If we get good legacy, Sierra Leone and Ogosi don't praise somebody for make road. But come on, road na essential. Road is meant to be there. Road not to a big deal. You make a leader, if you get for can make a big hoo-ha about and make roads. He's done nothing. It's not like if you're not papa, you can't talk for say, I feed me picking them. That's what fathers do. Shut up. Or if you're not mama, I give me picking them Bobby. Me, I give me picking them Bobby. That's what mammals do. Then they breastfeed. And you fall in that category of being mama. You give Bobby. You don't have to be given a certificate for breastfeeding your child. If you're not a leader, guess what? You are paid for your job. And you are given a unique privilege. And that privilege they went and give you. Now one of service for serve you people. Not for go serve you self. Not for go serve you ego. Not for go please you self. Now for please the very people that we put you there because they gave you their vested interest to act on their behalf. So they get every right for critique you, for challenge you, for hold you accountable, for hire and fire. Mind you, you give them a manifesto. If you have not kept so that, opposition will hold you accountable. If opposition not hold you accountable, the people that get right for fire, both the government and the opposition. And you don't reach that stage in Sierra Leone. So if we say we want to do change, let's don't talk about cosmetic change. I will not be part of it because we don't do that for too long. Whenever they come, oh, let we do national cohesion. Let we come together. Whenever they do that, like a way for cover up something. If you really want to change something, you get to think about coming together, believing in something, standing for something, with a view for correct something we're desperately wrong. We're not a meet criteria. We're there against una culture, una principles, and una values. Una stand up and reject them. But guess what? Doing so, majority of the people that stand behind that principle, plan towards achieving that. That's what is called revolution. Revolution just don't happen. Revolution happens where the people then get one word, then get one focus, then get one ideology, then get one belief, then stand for a principle and organize themselves for make them position registered. And when it's registered, if people don't act upon it, then they get every right for sack them. Either by doing a vote of no confidence, by impeaching the president, or then do a mass protest where they go ask the person for resign or come out. We'll see what happen in Nepal. This is what happens where you as a leader, you don't listen to your people. You offend your people. You abuse your people. You abuse power. You are there to serve. You are voted. And you are on salary. You are paid. And you get guidelines in doing your job. And the guidelines, they pan waiting and call constitution, where they above we all. But when it suits you, you breach them. Then when it suits you, you use them against the very people where you meant for lead. When you reach your Waterloo, when you reach your junction, and say 20 years not forever. and say road long tea, you could come to the junction. And at them points and they would not reach. I like one verse in the Bible, what they call Amos 3:3. It say two can only work together if they agree. Two people can work together only if there is an agreement. Forget the revolution, una get for agree on a purpose. As I say earlier, una get for identify the purpose, understand them, as in the components that we involve in it. Like as I say earlier, one of the components, them, the politicians, the intellectual class, in other societies, them, how then they able to keep balance of power. You get executive, you get judiciary, you get legislation, then you get free press, and they are all independent from one another. We don't have that. And things not just they happen by themselves. Now we the people them get to ask for it and make sure say it's there. But we have failed morally because we have a moral obligation in our constitution. Section chapter 2, section 13. It's there. It is our duty as citizens for make sure say the ideals that within the constitution gets life. That means they act accordingly. But Sierra Leone, all we do, blame Momo, Momo blame Abu, Abu blame Koji, Koji blame Munda, Munda blame Joko, Joko blame Bandile, Bandile blame Cherno, Cherno blame Julde, Julde blame Vandi, Vandi blame Ose, Ose blame Santigi, Santigi blame Molai. When they do that, now a very easy way for avoid finding the solution. If we're really serious, this is not time for beginning to blame one another. This is time for us to understand the system, including the components and the relationships between them. How then people there they play with wayo? But can you imagine if the intellectual class not mix pan this wayo when they play with? If the intellectual class and the politicians them, they're not there in cahoot at the expense of the people. By now, everybody in Sierra Leone for no for say Shaka Stevens. I mean they man. But because we get a culture for know the truth, but believe the lies. And one for hold on to the lies and protect the lies like a commandment. And once we hold on to lies, we're not able for propel change. It's not possible because you cannot change on a lie. You can only change on truth, on facts, on reality, not the things that were unreal. And within the reality, Shaka Stevens was never a limber. I mean, the man. If when I look history, all through documents, Shekino talk nothing but his papa. He just say papa na limba. Even in a book, he say papa na limba. But if the man say wandomo kara, wandomo kas, picking mama side, picking papa side. How then go born you? You talk about your mama in depth. Miata Masakoi, the daughter of Shaka, King Shaka Masakoi. When I inborn Mololo Masakoi, the Galinese chief, the Viking, where resisted the English. That particular ruling house, one of the ruling houses then that will be very astute, will be very Afrocentric, will challenge the British. Now the whole of South, now the only house stand they will challenge with Mandem. They not collaborate against the country. So because of that, Mololo Masakoi was exiled to Liberia. Now Sheki Onkula one day. Now Miata a brother. We succeed i papa Shaka Masakoi. And at that same ruling house day, Madam Wuki come out. So a very prominent family. Sheki is very proud of a Mama Sai. And at that same family day, and at that root day, and at that line day, that route day, that day, Sheki and Victor Fo become cousins. They are related. As for the Limbasai, let we look and let we ask ourselves, Sheki na Limba, it gets collaborators them. As I say, you get always the people that will collaborate against the welfare of the country. All the collaborators, they were wealthy people because they give them access for do it in for thief, because that's how you get the licenses for enter the Bogbog club. That's for it to domot them. Shaka Stevens picking the ornament them then get. You get James when with my name and not another give so much with my name because Islam is very predominant at the north. And recently, because I remember we Mitong with the Catholic, then go to the run after them. The only side where they welcome the missionaries then at Tonkolili. I make you find out for say the culture between other side of the north and Tonkolili is a bit different. And likewise, then gets the Poro when they say Yoni Bana, that is Big Yoni, that the headquarters for Poro and Sierra Leone. Well, now we went at the Gambia side, now the Adikali system we get. The Adikali system is very Islamic orientated. Like Baibure i papa Kablai. Baibure i papa Nabi Karmoko, it tafsir the Quran. He was a cleric in Quranic education and studies. And likewise, Baibure, it tafsir the Quran too. Boy, papa na Karmoko, you know, go learn the Quran. Of course, that must. You learn the Quran, you understand the Quran. So now the Adikali system will get na we say, na make we chief them pa la mami, al imam, na leader, pa Adikali. It's very Islamic orientated. So even the Timni them, you get different dialects and variation and little differences in traditions and culture. But that is not what we are talking about here. What will we talk about, Naya? We talk about how we will facilitate change in our country. As I said earlier, first and foremost, we have to understand the system and its components. Then we will understand the core problem them with the inside this then components there. Then inside una go desire waiting una want. Then una go make a choice. And any side way choice day, sacrifice day. Do we want to make those sacrifice? Sacrifice choice, change is painful because you get to move maybe to an area where when are unknown, where you don't know. But it will be different to what you have now because you already know, say, usa you day, they work. And you go ever work. Waiting and tell me about lunacy. But they do the same thing and they get the same result and they continue to repeat the same process. Where for say you go end up with the same result. Now that's what they do in Sierra Leone. Like me, to map now, they tell people they say Ture be not Timni. Not lie. Ture they're not a Timni. People in Sierra Leone, they call themselves Camara. They say they're not Timni. That's a lie. They are not Timnis. People in they call themselves CC. They're not Timni. They are not Timnis. People in they call themselves Koruma, Masare, Sisi. How come you get Sisi na South na Mende? Sisi na Cambia, na Ture, na Timni. But Mende na South, Sisi na South, na Mende. Sisi na Batkano, na Loko. Sisi na this. Anybody when I Sisi, then get the same ancestry. Ture, then get the same ancestry. Whether na Burkina Faso, then they Abidjan, then they Sierra Leone, then they Liberia. then they Central Africa, then they Mali, then they Senegal. Sisi na Sisi, Turi na Turi, they all get the same ancestry. Kuruma na Kuruma. How comes they are of different tribal representation? Something is going on what we need for know. And at that now with strength. We think bring we can Sierra Leone. Now because people immediately run away from being captured for take them go into slavery. Even we book where you read the short history of Sierra Leone, then they talk about people and we be they come for canker help. People like Francis Drake, and what's in the other man in himself? What's in the other man in him? Oh God, John Hopkins. These were slave catchers and slave dealers, and they catch a lot of slaves then from Sierra Leone, Chimney, Mende, and there are evidences all over history books that place like Karakou, that's na Grenada, Chimney, the people from Chimney background, even na Haiti. In those days, they call them the Hispaniona. I say them they call Haiti. Chimney slaves then did it. Then get them back na Atlanta. And you get them in there, want them back. Then they catch them. So because of that, they make them run away. Come to the forest. For can hide for safety. The smaller tribes there. That's how Sierra Leone came to existence. Like a sanctuary. That should be what you for we don't educate with people. And that should have been what the intellectuals should have done. For let people know the circumstance in it which Sierra Leone was formed. Say Sierra Leone now one port, now a sanctuary, now a place where people run for safety. But now we not safe. We don't very brother them back 30 days. How them they can't catch you, they can't go so brother and they catch you, they sell wiggy with man because we not ever get independence. Now be a transfer of power from white colonialists to black colonialists. The black colonialists them now we present politicians and intellectuals. When they take power 61, the very first thing they for we don't do for dismantle the divide and rule enterprise where the with man left, they continued with it. Because it was in their interest for maintaining the divide and rule culture. Instead of educate, we say it was the white man's capsule for make the able get supremacy over we where we are divided. Because when we are divided, we are weak. That's why Sierra Leone is so weak. We are very divided. And we are still divided. And the leader them, anytime where election they come, then they mindenize, they timinize, and the party they mindenize and timinize. That's the reason why we are not able to assemble under one values and one principle. That is the reason why nation building has not been successful. Because for le una able for build a nation, as Samora Machel, one of the great Pan-Africanists, them, will be the president of Angola. He say, tribe, now enforce una for get rid of. In Sierra Leone, the truth of the matter is if they do DNA, knowing what I know, factually, predominantly Sierra Leoneans are Madingo. Boku, yanko nyekade, na Madingo dem. Boku. Mindima nem boku na Madingo. You come back na Timni line. Boku, bo as I call the name Nengisno. Sisi, Turi, Kamara, Kuruma, Conte, Manzare. These are all very popular Timni names, but guess what? They are of Madingo descent. And that's the truth. And if you get politicians them and academic them with serious, these are the areas they would build policies where they enlighten, we glue it together as a family. When that happens, we they quickly assemble together with one principle, one value system, one purpose. then it's easy for we get a revolution. Revolution does not have to be violent. Revolution is simply where you get people them coming together for what them believing and then stand up for it. Whether not passively then do them, whether not through protest, whether not through civil disobedience, whatever way they choose for do them, or whether they protest by doing demonstration or by voting. And one thing way might be news to Sierra Leonean. Do you know that voting is a protest? Voting is protest. And protest is a fundamental human principle. Because we became born, the very first thing we did learn a protest. Not to parents, the teacher, and that. It is natural in every child. That make any picking the first word where they learn are no. No. Then the next word, it become in a form of crying. Whenever a child is uncomfortable, we don't want something, they cry. When you're not a politician, when they serve the people, then whenever people in protest, if you know say something is wrong, they are not happy. And if you are responsible in your role as a leader, you go pay attention, you go create a situation where they call dialogue for understand within the people in the talk about, for make you go able to find the solution for deal with those problems. Mind you guys, all of you, where they look me, where are they talk so? When I always they under my voice. When I get for know this. If we don't know them fundamental principles there, we'll not go ever change in Sierra Leone. We will continue to live in the lies. And lies, not they facilitate change. You cannot change on a lie. You can only change based on truth. And how you could do that? You get to know your history. You understand your identity. You get to know why things then turn the way they turn. And for do that, you get to go back and look also you come out. The mistakes then where you don't make. Because Sierra Leone, they learn from mistakes then. How many reports then they don't make when a good report, where they don't implement? Because that culture, they know these people are not there to work on your interest. If all those recommendations that they don't do, but all the inquiries that they don't do in Sierra Leone will not be the way it is. But the reason why, they always they change the driver, but at the same motor car. Where you really want to do change, you they change from top to bottom. That is, if you change the driver, you have to change the motor car too. Because you don't want any complaint for begin talk for say, oh, the motor car gearbox, or the motor car don't hold, the motor car get for to mechanic, this, that. When are the same thing with the driver will be there before be the complaint. So change the motor car, then change the driver. So we always fall short of that. Whenever they give you recommendations, like right now they don't give you 84. How we go implement their recommendations and they will not get interim government? The very man who caused the problem, when they don't go sit down, they make recommendations, they say, for Kanka implementer. The man will be the judge and the jury. You feel to see the man will be a footballer and be the ref at the same time. Una go expect push for complaint, we soup come on a hand for them. There is a parable in Timine. That means to say, soap come out na pussy hand for them. If you say puss go be in there, puss not go give her monkeys. Because puss not get need for the soap. Because puss not the worst. Get soap na yano. You not get soap na yano. It not make any difference. Madabiu. It not be to the advantage if it implements those policies. Now that's make they don't come with the most ideal gimmick for full on back. Hello, Kampa, proportional representation. That for can mask the problem again. But we want to full man them. We want to see them the intellectual class, they don't collude against una freedoms, against una rights, against una human rights. Then una they allow them. Because for let somebody abuse you, now you get forgive permission. We Sierra Leoneans have given the intellectual class and the politicians them the right for use we anyhow. They say they go share power now. When them thief the 2023 elections, they will not get result. They will not agree forgive with the result. That is the issue we should be talking about. Are they talking about it? No. They want for cover them up. Like, no, go to the next election. Now, this man here, now wise man, waiting he go want for do, now for let him make easy for everybody. So now what you go do? Nobody no go do winners takes it all. If me win 70%, I will take 70%. I give him 30%. In a proportional representation, how do you know that 70% you can get? So you already don't get a result planned. The one day when I don't prepare earlier, when I don't put as my name, I can say, Kakama. We're going to make a 70-30. How do you know it will be 70-30? In a proportional representation, now the results now for determine the proportion. How do you know, say, the result not going to be 50-50? How do you know, say, it will be 70-30? How do you know it will be 60-40? How do you know it not will be 75-25? How do you know that? You not take the exams yet. You don't already know the result. So man go say a prediction. But when you begin to predict in a system, we will be transparent, we will be credible, we will be accountable. Then straight away, the red flags they don't begin to come up. And besides, that area they wouldn't play with now entrenched clause. If they want for change the voting system, then get forget 2/3 majority in the parliament. Then get for do within and call referendum. That means to say the people then get for put them in vote whether or not that's they want. And it's not possible for let them do them in this government. It's not possible. We'll not get the time. But yet they want for go through them through the back door. How long will they ban this? So if we want for change, let's understand the problems. We did lie. I cannot believe Titi, the old man, he talk about the all tax war. They're not enough for say the all tax war are two components. The all tax war started as all tax war, but it split. You get the Mende uprising when at the same time as the all tax war, but the Mende then began the new movement in which Creole people were massacred. Hundreds of Creole people were killed. They were targeted. That part of our history, then they hide them power. And we need to know all these things to learn about we history. Thereby, we put policies them, like what in Rwanda do, for correct them in the future. They only tell us about Baibure was a warrior. He fought against the British. But they not tell we for say the British can be employ within and call the hard-scotch policy. Within an hard-scotch policy. Where the warrior them, the team, the warrior them, they ambush them, they fight based on intelligence. Not to be brutal war, they fight them through ambushes. Then they cause big time damage from the British. The British not able them. Pass where they go for reinforcement. Waiting Governor Kadwe do. Wicked man. He deploy soldier man from the Caribbean and Ghana. They go bring Ghana man them and Caribbean soldier man and Ghana, Sierra Leone for can kill with people them. And how they do them, then they deploy the hard-scotch policy. That hard-scotch policy, that means to say, kill anything where you see, burn every farm and every hut. Very draconian. And then begin to burn the farm them. Then people then begin to angry. By Bure, in those days, when they say leadership, not to the kind of who gets now, but the father of the nation. He thought safety first for his subjects. Now that make he surrender, because they burn the people their huts, they burn the farmlands, people they made begin hungry, and he know for say it could hurt the population. And he didn't want that. So before that, make them whole. That's what then take whole. He surrender. And when he surrender, he mend them. Nearly 98 of them. They do public hanging, they hang them. When I go to the history book, it's there. Now you own country. Somebody say if you can't pay tax unfairly, you not tell them why they for pay tax. You not tell them within the benefit from the tax. The people then say, no, we only pay tax to you. It is not in our interest. Before you do a dialogue, of which Chief Almami Suluku of Bumbang, when I Baibure, a best friend, he tried for broke a dialogue between the governor and Baibure, because now be Baibure a best of friends. The governor rejects that option. He go for full-blown violence. So, what can happen? That's make Baibure get for surrender for the sake of the people them. You see, my brother Robert Kabo, they talk for say one person to blame is C.A. Camaratello. No, not every Limba person, because the Limba people they knew. Every Limba person knew that Sheka Stevens was not Limba. Go na Kabasa, let you go tell me anybody did the way that Sheki fumble. How we gonna know the truth and choose for believe the lies? Just because of few people them, like Padondondo, C.A. Camaratello, Sami Sagata of Main Street, and you go up the road, you get other powder they call Pasamura, and say get BB ghosts, so they all get BB ghosts them. But almost host and the Limba fraternity get. Now they no more benefit. Then give Limba concubine there. For make them authenticate the conspiracy. And the Mende people they knew too that Sheki is not a Limba. This is a nation problem. As I said earlier, for change a country or for change a system, una get for first and foremost understand the system, including the components and the relationship between them. Then identify the core problem and desire for future. And one of the core problems in Sierra Leone, now deception, lies. Lots of things that when they tell you about Sierra Leone, not so true. One of them, Sheki is not a Limba. Sheki try for me to believe say Iwef na pure Creole. Iwef is partly Timni. Come from Mambolo. And his family did it. I happen for no late Mami Rebecca, his brother, when I late Abuye no, na his brother. Man we commit a lot of mischief na Mambolo chief though. Because of the connection with Pasheki. Because Pasheki married his sister. Mami Rebecca happened for go primary school na Mangebure, of which the school na dem daddy go. He daddy go school with her. He daddy know her. And then say history, then they pass on down through writing and talking and through digging. Sierra Leone, we get them only then they dig where they show say we in a long civilization. Sierra Leone don't exist for over 3,000 years. We get a lot of history. But how much of those history we know? How many people know for say Sierra Leone is predominantly Madingo? And that is a strength what we for tap into, for unite we, for that we get unity of purpose, for that we know for say we get the same DNA. Mende and Timni, not the same ancestry, but then they fed each other like puss, cat and dog. Tom and Jerry, now him and the man and Timni man don't turn to. But when you look at it, are the same people. They get local man. They not be they call them local. When they can Sierra Leone, they're not Bandi people. They're not Bandi people. That is their real name. Then chief in him, na Songo Loko. When they say Bande, which man sabi call Bande. So it'd be easy for them to say Songo Loko e people them. Songo Loko e people them. That's how the name Loko stuck on them. The Loko people. And then chief in him that one day. And at the same with the Shebura, they are Bolum people. Which man sabi call Bolum. The chief be named by Shebora. So they begin to call them Sheborai people and Sheborai people, and so they became Shabro. But they are bandit, they are Bolum people. Where they by Yellow Boya, say go them Bond area. And in fact, Bond area now originally Timini them did. Because there is something in Africa where we the Africans they learn pan geography, we learn pan social sciences, but not they apply on our culture. They call it demography. Demography they change after a certain time. Born to be predominantly in the area. The chief will be the na by Kurba. Then Bana Louis papa. Bana Louis na Banaboom. Then I be the king na Bond. And I be a collaborator for sell people as slave. These are all things we need to know. These are all things we need to know. If we do not orientate ourselves in waiting our real identity, who we are, orientate ourselves very well into that, it will be very difficult. Let me define all this difficulty because lack of knowledge, ignorance, and waiting bad in this world where you ignorant in arrogance. And then the other problem we get, these are the components. So for us to change Sierra Leone, we have to do soul searching. A lot of things that we don't know. We not be no say way by Buddha be the 30 war. There was another simultaneous war with the going at the south. When at the same all-tax war. The same all-tax war. Where the guy watching and call mutate into being the Mende uprising. Who that? Now be the person will be the lead the Mende uprising. Now a man called Momoja. Who is Momoja? Na Fulaman? Momoja, because of a activism and a boldness, he got a ruling house. Now them put your area, the jar, then jar them. Now full of them. But then now Mendes, them massacre them, then get full of blood. Then Kai them, then get full of blood. But now Mendes them. These are the secrets. Chief Dura, now Limba, will get full of blood. Me when they talk now so. Literally, a lot of people know say me grandpa in name me great grandpa in name Mamadou Duri Jallo from Four Road. He born me granny Fatmata Jallo. And Fatmata Jallo in Mama Komo Tambiana. And that is a unique position. Almost every Sierra Leonean get. We get multi-ethnicity. Almost everybody. So this craze, what would they go up with about being pure? Chimney, pure Mende, na a fallacy. Like the whole of Moyamba, where you say Moyamba, Mayamba, Mabole, Matutuka, Makeni. You see the relationship? Because towns then are the north. They either be Ma or Ro. Rokata, Robumbe, Rokania, Rokambia, Robake, Rotifunk. If you Rotifunk, where did Moyamba? Oh? Well, in Moyamba now, Mayamba, Mabole, Matutuka, Makeni, Moyamba, demography na change. But na Mende enclave. Because there is a place called the Kagboro Chiefdom inside Moyamba. The chieftaincy na Momo them. Other than the Momo them, Momo na team name. Na the way how Team Niman they call Momodu Muhammad and they call him Momo. Team Niman they call Momo. And the kingdom mutate into being a surname now in the line, the Momo them. And that make people they ask why President Momo become Momo. Because at that time, for going to the army, they may do serious prejudices against Limbaman. If he had said he was Momo Conte, they're not going to take him. So he's saying he named Momo. as his surname. And at that time, in the 60s, from 54, where the SLPP take over, where SLPP, not so originally, the party, the person when the construct of the SLPP, na Creole man. We get a party, Salon Party, where he changed the name to Sierra Leone People's Party. And Lamina Sanko, na him forge the slogan, one people, one country. Not so many man do. A Creole man. And na him go prevail on by Faramatas, the Gambia chief. We na him go talk to a fellow people them. We be get an organization where they call PEPU. That is the Protectorate Educational Progressive Union. That didn't win them over from the SLPP. And that's any the Southern then get their own organization, what they call SOS. The Salon Organization Society. But now the PEPU. And through them, SLPP was born with the instructions, with the prevalence, because this man prevailed over them, what they call Lamina Sanko, because he be once follow amalgamate. A Creole man. And Wallace Johnson was also for that. The only Creole will not be support that a Bankole Bright. Then we want for them and get the annexed Freetown, and Freetown remain a Creole enclave. But Lamina Sanko didn't believe in that. Believe say we for amalgamate and become one nation, one people, one country, one people. And up till this day, we have not been able to achieve that. But SLPP they use the slogan, but they don't understand the meaning of the slogan. If we want for do one nation, one people, tribe must die. And when you look at it, all the party then we function in our country, at the north, they were born. We get a lot of lies that we don't tell we. Look like a man called Kemokai, when I be a revolutionary, many man, Pujong, he stand against the corruption will be go on at the south. Mina, at that time, he very influential and powerful. Then killed that man, broad daylight. He was a teacher. You see, this world, what goes around comes around. Look how we end. Not that he commits any crime and lie, and I'm just like how in lie and connive for take out another person when I even mean the brother. For take out, this man wouldn't they call Kemokai. Then kill him. Then kill the poor man, broad daylight. If they run for going to police, the policeman and lock the door and push on a door. These are the truths we need for know, learn from them, create policies then for prevent them not for happen again. Talk about militia groups them, where people like in the go to party, then they dance. They call it's so shameful. We get a country, we still get militia groups them. Hindu, Kamajo, Kindika, you know, Capra. It something is wrong. Why do we have the army? Why we get the police? The police, they are all a part of the problem. They are all part of the corruption. These are the things we have to talk about. We're not going to push them under the carpet and pretend that they not happen. So if we want for change, as I said earlier, we as a people, we must first understand the system, including its components and the relationship between them. Then identify the core problems and desire future state. We'll go one for see we safe. We say 5 years, and this will go one for see. This system not they work. We don't know within we for do, but if we know the problem now, it will give you an idea of which we need. We plan for it. If you need for change, you get to understand the change. What you want for change for? What you will need for change for? If you get a country where people and they call themselves APC and SLPPN, then you know how deep, how chronic the problem is. How you, a whole Sierra Leonean, should be proud of being Sierra Leonean. But now people are proud for being APCN. Now APC passport you work with. They call yourself SLPPN. Now SLPP passport you work with. Now Timni passport you work with. Now Mende passport you work with. Now Loco passport you work with. Now Creole passport you work with. Now Sierra Leonean passport. We get a flag, green, white, and blue. And in we national anthem, it say, I will exalt thee. What you they exalt? Something where you lionize, where you idolize, where you proud of, where you just crazy about. Are we crazy about Sierra Leone? No, we are crazy about our tribes. We are crazy about our parties. And we neglect the container outside with it. And the container, na Sierra Leone, now in contain we all. If we really serious, then we left for look at the symptoms. Then we look at the causes. And one of the main cause we make will not be able for achieve the change we would need. And when I mean change, I don't mean cosmetic change. I mean thorough, radical change. Now because we get for identify them problem there. As I said to you now, this problem, this subject here, we get for talk about them for a long time. You know, because change is deeper than what a lot of people then think. Because when you look but change, you know, I don't talk this word here, not once, not twice. I don't talk and severally. We get for be honest to ourselves. First, we get for be honest to ourselves. And when we honest to ourselves, we get certain things that we will need for do. We get for identify the problem. And when we do that, we get for understand the system and problem. Deeply understand the system, component, and relationships. Recognize the system are made of interconnected parts, and their interaction influence the system overall behavior and responses. You get to understand the Mende man, you get to understand the Timni man, you get to understand the Madingo man. And one thing we I know, predominant Mende man and Timni man gets the same ancestry. If they do DNA in Sierra Leone, almost 70% of Sierra Leone and Madinga or heritage. And that's fact. And that is the job for the intellectuals. But since the distance between the politicians and the intellectuals is negligible because they are one and the same people. If you try to put them together, the difference is paper not go between them. And the same way APC, SLPP, paper not go between them. They are the same entity, the same people. So we get one problem, and I problem with it before we, but they refuse for CM because we enjoy the lies. We dwell in lies. We intellectual class. We forbid don't come. Look at these problems. Do research. Make we know who that we be. We are real identity. How we come to Sierra Leone. What you bring we come. The America, when they talk, then talk for say they had slaves. Then talk for say they all come from different places. Then say America na a melting pot. And that is what the Americans use as the foundation of their society. Now a country where now they call it the free world, where everybody can. Now the same with Sierra Leone, we all can. All of us came there. What were we looking for? Safety. But the question now, are we safe? No. Then the other thing, gain a deeper understanding of the problem. Go beyond surface level issue to understand the underlying root causes. This may involve creative methods like drawing diagrams of the system to visualize the complexity according to the symptoms they want to see. And we therefore start change with we self. Start with yourself and small steps. Change yourself first. Since society is a collection of individuals, personal change is the starting point for collective change. Then the other thing, practice listening. Listen, understand the meaning behind words, showing curiosity, empathy, rather than simple hearing. Do you guys realize, even with languages, we borrow words from one another? We can man talk about Kowe. My name say Kowe. My name say Domi. Then they say Doma. Na konoma. When we say Nambara, Soto, Nambara. So man say Nambara Soto. We man say, hey, I go read you Samba letter. The word Samba na Madingo word. Quite a lot of civilization of Sierra Leone with linguistic roots. Na Madingo. I can read you Samba letter. Samba, it mean gift. Na Madingo. It can make Saga. Saga come from the word Sadaka. Na Madingo. Will you read the word Yangabine? Timini use Yangabine. Konoman use Yangabine. Mineman use Yangabine. Madingo influence. There is a word called Nimisa or Nyabuna Nimisa. Tibo desi atikbiti Nimisa na hi. Nimisa. Tinman use Angampo Nimisa. How come they use the same vocabulary? And we all get the same prejudices. And the prejudices, they don't start with prejudice. It starts with location. When they say Kenya Muisia, it means those up there, because the chimneys are at the north of Sierra Leone, that is up there. It not be mean tribal sentiments, but now we don't turn on politicians and the weight man don't look like that. When they say Kenya Muisia, they say they want and the yanda. But that's not what the original people meant. Then when we say Arata, what you say Arata, it means to say those at the bottom, those people that are dwelling south of Sierra Leone, that's at the bottom, south is at the bottom. Arata, those at the bottom. That's what it means. Originally, it not be mean bad, but now when it's in the user, it's derogatory. The way when they use it now. These are all the things we have to identify. Let we see where we buck with foot. Then say, no, look who's you for, no, look who's you buck your foot. We get for good it back. So family, I don't want to let we go too far. I want to let we stop here today. Let we reflect on waiting I talk about. We go come back on this topic. This topic is a foundational problem where we get for decipher, where we get for open up, where we get for understand, we get for know who that we be. All man come out, mina sise, I come out na Tambaka, mina sise, I come out na Kenema, I come out na Blama, mina sise, I come out na Cambia, mina sise, whether you come out from Guinea, you come out from Ivory Coast, Abidjan, Kenema, Bo, Blama, are the same ancestry. Same with Ture, I no care who side them come out, are the same ancestry. How come and they're different tribe? Who side they settle? They say, Paul Young, this now it's one, Wayan. They say, Usa you lay now you call home. So when people in come, either na Karmoko, he can do business, he come as a blacksmith, then all he count expertise. But Usa is settled, he married. And then I home. So naturally, where a bunny picking them, not even them sabi, not even them go say them be. But in reality, are they chimneys? Now we left for the mask certain realities. Let's see them as they are. Let we understand them for their value. and we use them values then they for create something where uniquely Sierra Leonean. That would be the change that we should seek. You cannot believe it. The quality of people them also. Like when you look like Pasheki, Saint Alimba. If you can get Mamaho, you get Kochi, you get Bokari. When I say Kochi na stone, na minde. Nobody know the Pasheki Pikine, winning Sarah, winning Yigiba, winning Molai, winning Santigi, winning Sori. None of them. Then Pantabde, there was a man where we for proud of and for pray for get more of them. This is now one of the independent-minded chiefs them. Now a man with them they call Chief Gamanga. In fact, now his sister, now him born Pasheki, one of his Pekin, when they call Bokari Stevens. The woman be named Doris. Chief Gamanga. In neither SLPP no team, he was a Sierra Leonean first. Now the only man where they look at leader them, he tell them exactly what is wrong and how they need for calibrate. For let we get equilibrium, let we get balance in our society. We need them kind of people in there. Chief Gamanga be the chief na Bojibu. Usa na Bojibu. Bojibu na then kenema axis. You get Blama, where you gonna Blama, we at the junction. You get Blama, they go this side, at the left, then Bojibu, they go na the right. Now Sheki one brother law, but nobody afraid for tell Sheki true. Now they're nobody afraid for tell my guy true. Now we get chiefs them who are collaborators. We get academics them who are collaborators. We not get independent-minded people with principle. Not the nonsense all where they go on. And Eskoroma, people that talk will say a legacy. Where is the legacy? Why are we deluding ourselves? Where the legacy? When you want to talk about legacy, go now Cuba. Where you see Fidel Castro legacy, eradicate tetanus, eradicate malaria, eradicate leprosy, eradicate tetanus. Then Pantapli, then get more doctors now Cuba than England and America put together. America now 1 point something, then get per 1,000 patients. Now Cuba then gets about 10 doctors per 1,000 patients. Now Cuba. That is a legacy. So when they talk about legacy, they say road. Any country, whether they see legacy, a road as legacy, now a failure. Road now essential. Road not to achievement. Road now a basic fundamental standard. Road supposed for day. People that forget access. Road creates access. People that forget education, they forget knowledge. And when you look at the literacy, not so for open school, now the quality of education, Cuba then gets higher literacy than England and America put together. They get very high literacy. That is a legacy. So if we want for change, let we identify the problems them and let we plan together as a people. Look at the components, factors, then when they create them problems there. And once and for all, we draw a line under them. Instead of we draw line pan we self, Mingi line, Tini line, Creole line, up line. Now we draw a line. We say this is the line we separate we from corrupt countries. No more as Sierra Leone. Pikin no go sleep angry. That is the line. No more. We no go get Pikin as Sierra Leone. We no get good education. Education are right. No more. Plus, you no go buy water in Sierra Leone. But we get 7 rivers. We no able to provide drinking water. Then we see an Eskroma get legacy. Zimbabwe, we get only a lake, Lake Victoria. Then get water. Then they drink water. Safe water in a pump. We, if you no buy water, you are resigned to death. Waterborne disease, typhoid and cholera. The water is contaminated with excrement. Is that a legacy? Now positive legacy that one day. For that person even open his mouth, say an Nkrumah left legacy. Madabio don't work. Who said Madabio don't work? Oh, Pakaba of blessed memory, don't do this. What think Kaba do? All the money where they invest in Sierra Leone for rehabilitation. Sierra Leone is still full of trauma. One of the trauma them, after way the war done, they not rehabilitate the people. They not help the people with counseling. They not do that. They eat all the money, they thief all the money. Then the other trauma which Sierra Leone they go through, when I in the biggest, na poverty. People don't know how poverty bad. Person way poor, it they make bad choices. Person way poor, it they make friends based on the need. You know, they make choice based on moral standpoint, based on principle. No. Now that game, now Isabi, you cannot bite the finger that fits you. Naso Sankara, one of the Pan-Africanists, then tell we. And it's so true. So you find out for say, the people in normal way get liquidity, and the politician them. So when I say jump, the people then say how high. Now that's make the no one for transform the people their lives, because if they give them independence, then they go able to make informed choices. You don't want that. So be people them do ya when we think about these things. We go come back again by the grace of God Monday and Wednesday and continue for talk about these issues. And I pray to God that we get more people like Chief Gamanga. Let we get more people like Wallace Johnson, like Lamina Sanko, that is Pa Jones, Nathaniel Jones. Let we get people like by Pharmatas too. And by Pharmatas, I mean. Let we get this set of people now we missed. We don't lost quality people. People and we get principle. We get for decentralize. We get for take paramount chief them out of parliament. The political party they get for decentralize them. Every constituency forgets their own office. They forget their rights for choose Uda for represent them. They forget their interests because we ecology is very different. Because the country, different ecology, get different needs. Then for govern the country based on that principle. Because decentralization now in the help for facilitate corruption. Paramount chief for common parliament, then get a different role, a traditional role, a cultural role. Now then they help we for maintain we culture, we identity, who that we be. And then get for in principle to map for make sure say we are what we are. Look at Paul. They get identity. It's very easy for them to decide for come together. But we're not able to. When they come in APC, when they come in SLPP, when they come out, and we them in there. When they come out, this and that. But when look at we, none of we know they win a pure mean they pure chimney. But Creoman, of course, then a melting pot of this and that, all kind jati. Because before they go for slave trade, they went Yoruba, went Igbo, went Fanti, went Kru, went Chimney, Mende, Soso, Madingo. After 400 years of bad experience, they came back Creole. So Creole now an experience. So are we all. We are all experiences. Because the slave trade now force we for run come inside the forest na Sierra Leone. For can hide. And for north, we know that we go believe and understand we identity for what it is. And not for say Sierra Leone sanctuary. If Sierra Leone sanctuary, why are we still not free? Because we're not able to identify what Sierra Leone stand for. When we identify that, we will begin to change with thinking. Family, now we come, now we dey go. And Imran T, they say tata. God bless una. We can support this channel. God bless una. We can listen. And I dey encourage people. Una write to me. Una call me. If una want take part. If una get something for can contribute. And una go dey call. We go begin to make them interactive. Because we all get for take part. Because the platform, a CEO and the management, they are very, very much committed for make Sierra Leone a better place. They are very committed for take part in the transition and forget that transition there. For make it be one, we could be productive, we could be efficient, and through education, through knowledge. And when we get knowledge, we go able to make informed choices. Famulem, Namikam, Namidigo, and Imran de Setata. Bye-bye.